issue an apology to Litchi. I openly denounced that product not too long ago, and I'd like to issue an apology. Just on the basis of the instruction manual, the PDF I read last night. If your product can live up to that, and that's what I'm going to do this week, the caveat that you can live up to that manual, because sometimes the manual can write checks that most of our butts can't cash. So I'm going to test your product this week with the Inspire 2 and see how compatible it is. I'm going to go through every feature. I'm going to preempt everything I had planned on doing this week, and it is going to be all Litchi Inspire 2. So I'm sorry, Litchi. I badmouthed you, but I'm going to make it up to you. We are going to make this work because I really don't like the Go4 app, and I want you to be the best. Let's go. Okay. Now, the first test is the safety stuff, all the pre-flights. If the Litchi app fails the pre-flights, then I'm not interested. If there's going to be issues with flyaways or landing problem, that is a really pretty picture of the Phoenix sky with some clouds in it. It's real rare that we get cloud cover. But if it doesn't pass the pre-flights, then it's just not worth it. Basic safety. There were some inconsistencies. If the drone was, say, 5 to 10 meters off the ground, it would just land where it was, whether you pressed the go home button or you disconnected the controller. Tried it 3 times each way, and it was just inconsistent. It's supposed to go up to 100 meters and then come right back down to the home point. It didn't do that consistently. If it was 5 to 10 meters off the ground, it would just land where it was when it's supposed to go up 100 meters. But if it was, say, 15 to 20 meters off the ground, it would go up to the 100 meters and then come back down to where the home point was set. Setting the home point with the C2 button, holding the C2 and C1 button long press, where you can set the controller or where it's at as its newer relocated home point, seemed to work really well, and I was happy with that. But the slight inconsistencies with the return to home feature worries me a little bit, and that needs to be addressed. So if you're listening, Litchi, you got to get on that. There's an altitude, something to do with the altitude that changes its priorities in return to home. Otherwise, return to home was pretty darn good. Now, what I will give an awesome check mark to Litchi for is this thing would return within millimeters of where it was supposed to be. And this is just a grass landing, but when I went and got the landing pad, there it is. When I went and got the landing pad, holy cow, when I gave it some contrast to land on, it would come down probably within a couple meters of where it was supposed to. I'd say within 5 to 10 millimeters, that close. This is I guess the new DJI feature of the dog avoid. It's a dog walk park, and that big dog was so old, dude. Trying to run as fast as he could when he saw the drone. It was super funny. So I just got some video of him because I liked him. He's an old dog, and he learned it. There it is. Within 5 to 10 millimeters of where it was supposed to. No lie. Way better than I've ever seen with the DJI app, and I consistently test the return to home features. Now, another interesting feature and totally harmless with the Litchi app is one of the waypoint features. It seemed to I don't know, kind of lag a little bit, but it did okay, and I had 0 complaints. But it just seemed a little slower than it was supposed to be. It would respond a little bit slower. What I did like was the absolute consistency in holding the line. It wouldn't deviate. There's no way I could control the drone that well by hand and work the camera at the same time. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. This is a two-person drone. And having the ability, and this is it, flying a couple of the waypoints. I set a bunch of waypoints, just random, over this field, and it ran it like a champ. And I just let it run this time. But then I started playing with the yaw, and it did not deviate, not even a little bit, from the track with the yaw. The rounded corners, which weren't there last time I had the DJI app about 3 months ago, they didn't have rounded corners, or at least I didn't find them. And I spun it around. It stayed in its rounded corners. It didn't do that weird stop thing in a corner and then go to the next line and then stop and then go to the next line. It was just a smooth, smooth, smooth motion. If you're going to spend $25 today, this is the place to spend it. It ain't perfect, and it's not for every situation, but I would say that of all the drone jobs I've done, this is totally appropriate in 90% of the jobs. You can even set this up for the drone-based jobs before you even get there. And then just launch the drone, boom, go get your pictures, and down it comes. Saving you ridiculous battery in the meantime. So, it comes around. I played with the yaw a little bit. It was unaffected. The line was completely unaffected. Pitched the camera up slightly. And just a quick word about cinematic movements. They keep saying that word, cinematic movements. Let me tell you, yes, they are cinematic movements, but being smooth on the sticks saves you ridiculous amounts of battery. Ridiculous amounts of battery. So here it is. It comes around to the last waypoint, and unfortunately I didn't set it to return to home, so bad on me. And I just kind of sat it where it was supposed to sit, and bingo, I was totally happy with it. One thing I didn't like for sure was the actual return to home. And I'm going to be watching this over the next 3 or 4 days. The actual return to home would change on its own. And it could be me just being crazy, but it would actually, in the settings menu of the app, would change over to just hover. And this may have been one of those situations. I don't like that, but, hovering is better than, landing. But I'm going to keep an eye on that because I don't like aberrant changes in software unbeknownst to the pilot in command. Now, a little rotation back around. And I think I was looking for, what was it? What was I looking for? I don't know. Anyways, the waypoint, top notch. Way, way, way top notch. And here's the difference. The waypoint on the Inspire 2 on the DJI Go4 app, only with the tablet. Now, we're going to get into some of the unhappier aspects of the Litchi app. When I tried the follow modes, the first follow modes where it would follow the controller and the sensor, it would walk around a bit. You see, it would kind of, it would lose me. It would always come back and find me. Now, DJI Go 4 app, when it loses you, it just lets you go. And it just panics. So I'd like to see a little more consistency with that. But it may also be operator error. Now, this is the regular waypoint mission when you set it for the wrong field. So off it goes. But it does show how consistent the line is. Up, and away, and then over to the field, and then goes into its mission. But I canceled this one, and I was able to cancel it successfully without any fuss or any muss. It was fantastic, even for a bad mission. This is the orbit mode. The orbit mode is a godsend on the Inspire 2. It is so fantastic. Now you set your perimeter, and you widen that radius or decrease it, and it's so simple. Now, yes, I can do an orbit by hand, but never as precise as that. And as it spun around, I could change the sweep angle of the shot. I didn't bother correcting horizon, so that might be a little bit off. But I could change sweep angle, which is just something you could never do, by hand during a mission. So if you're looking for just some amazing shots and possibilities, this litchi's the way to go. Now, I stopped this mission, but here's the thing with the litchi missions, the orbit missions, it will just keep going around and around and around until you stop it. So, I don't know, I guess they should set a timer on that. Now, this is the follow me mode, where it follows the signal of the device instead of the controller. Now, I'm a fairly big guy, so it should be able to keep a good eye on my white shirt, heavy contrast to the green ground. But, I don't know. And as a side note, before we get into the whole thing, as a side note, I don't know, maybe somebody with a spark can comment. This is the first time I've had my Inspire follow me at any point since I've owned it in the last 6 months. It's kind of creepy. It's like a North by Northwest kind of creepy. Let me know if the sparks aren't that creepy. Anyways, that's going to conclude today's testing of the Inspire 2. I had a bunch of people to go talk to. So thanks for stopping in. We're going to do a little more testing tomorrow, as well as some more drone work. And have a good evening. We'll talk to you later. Good night.